Hey, we're live. It's Anne from Us and We Do Knitting, and we are doing another panel chat today, which is fairly new. We are in the middle of the Norwegian Wool Month, and for those of you who have been around for a while, you have that was Anne's double. That was Anne. I had my YouTube on in the background. Forgot to. Seriously, Anne. That's amateurish. Now they're all closed. Um, and today we are going to do some, we're going to talk a bit with some fabulous knitters that are in my world about, we're going to talk about the courses that I've done. And the reason why we do this is because we have restructured the whole, the way we offer things this autumn. Now in August, and I'm going to go into details. We had done a podcast about that. I'm going to go into details about that in the middle of next week. But we want to share with you the experiences that our knitters have with the stuff that we offer, right? And a couple of weeks ago, we did a panel talk, a chat with some people in what used to be called the Nook. It's still called the Nook, but we are slowly changing it into the mountain level. And the mountain level is it's not obviously, but the mountain level is where we take you, up to the Anne's beloved mountains, because I'm a mountain fan, a huge one. That's my happy place. And to give you the overview. So that's the idea, we take you to the mountain in the mountain journey, up to the mountains, and give you the overview. And for those of you who want to move on from there, we have something called the Fjords, because that's where we do. If you decide to move on, you want to go deeper. So we go into the fjords and we go deep, because, whether the fjords are physically deep or not, they feel extremely deep because of the mountains going straight down into the water side and back over here. And today we have 3. We were meant to be a couple more, but it looks like we have some issues with people being able to get on. But so today we have at least 3, and there might be a couple of more coming. And my beloved Steph is not able to join. She is in the back seat of a car, and I'll have to take her place because she was the one who's supposed to do this one. But that's fine. I know how to talk now. I'm going to get my lovely knitters to talk instead of me. So with that, I'm going to bring those lovely knitters onto the stage. I'm going to say welcome to Brenda, Yvonne, and Crystal. Hey, ladies.
Hi.
I'm so happy. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate that. For those of you, I started saying to a couple of them, came a bit late for my taste. And I started telling you can't leave it that late, ladies. But, they know me. So there we go. Let me, I don't want to. I'm going to start with, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves. And I'm going to let Brenda go first.
I am Brenda. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri in the US, and I've been knitting for about 10 years. And I have been working with Anne's groups for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm retired.
Yes, you are. We're going to get back to that, aren't we? Yvonne.
Hi, I'm Yvonne from Fjord in the Netherlands in Europe. I have been knitting since I was a little girl. I learned from my mom and I thought I knew everything. And then, then I got to know Anne's world and I discovered continental knitting, and that was, mind-blowing. It was new to me. So, I dove in.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm grateful for you being around. And finally, Crystal.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and currently I live in just outside Chattanooga, Tennessee. Be relocating to Montrose, Colorado this fall, where it's cooler and you can wear more wool. But anyway, and I started knitting about 40 years ago on the way to college. And I met Anne and her group just a little over a year ago. It was with the Eternity Shawl, not this year, but the previous year. And it's a wonderful universe.
Steph always says that. Crystal talks about this as you know, a universe, and you know that we need to adapt that. Okay, we'll do that.
Well, you know, it fits. You've got the mountains and the fjords and the northern lights. You know, so we start with our feet on the ground, and then the sky isn't even the limit.
No, that's true. That's true, and that's so, and you know that that's so in my philosophy. That thing, that sky is not the limit. We're going wherever we're going, right? So if we're going, you know, beyond the moon, we are going beyond the moon, but we are going to try to keep our feet on the ground today. And I'm thinking, I'm going to start with you, Brenda, because you came in last year. Did you join the Eternity Shawl? Was that
No, I did the nice challenges the first thing. And then I talked to you, and I started at level 1. And then from there, I was too impatient to wait for level 2 because it wasn't going to happen until the spring. So I jumped into level 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say what I really wanted to learn was continental knitting, because I had right shoulder pain from throwing so much. And so I guess I saw the Eternity Shawl, and that was the one thing that caught my eye. But then I saw you were offering this free course, the Nice Challenge, and I did that first.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you and I talked, you suggested that I do level 1 because I had a little bit of color work experience, but I'd never done it with continental both hands. I was doing it two-sided, and I really didn't have that much experience. So I went through that, and I learned a ton. I mean, I learned a ton about how to hold my yarn, how to keep my tension, and those kind of things. And then I was impatient. I wanted to make a sweater, and I couldn't. I think we finished you were going into level 3 in the fall, I think. And so, and I wasn't able to do level 2 until March. And so I did the level 3, and I only did it because you offered the pullover, which you have on. The actual cardigan, which I think is behind you, was just, you know, at that point in my life, or actually, I'm not even sure at this point in my life, I was up for that challenge. So I started the sweater, and then what happened was, because I was not that efficient and probably not that skilled, it took me longer than which is okay in Anne's world. And so I put it, as I call it, in timeout, because the level 2 course was starting. And that opened up an amazing world to me, because in that course, I learned how to actually do a swatch and measure gauge. Prior to that course, I'd make a small little swatch. I never did the whole 4 inches. And I would measure in 1 or 2 places, and then I'd go, that's good enough. And that 1 or 2 stitch makes all the difference in the world. And in level 2, there was a lot of focus on gauge and making sure that you properly gauge. So one thing I like about Anne is we gauge with purpose. We make hats instead of just a square. And so it was, not only could I look at my colors, I could also look at my stitch count both ways. And so in level 2, I made my first pullover that actually fits me perfectly, because not only once you got your gauge, she taught us how to make any pattern fit you. So that's what I learned. So swatching properly, getting your gauge right, and adjusting a pattern. And I wish I would have known that before I started my level 3, but we're going to keep going.
It's the name of the game, isn't it? I mean, we can't learn it all at once, because then we wouldn't learn anything. So we have to take the stages, which is also because you're not the only one who's jumped into level 3, because we haven't had the level 2 available at that point. So that's why we decided this year to actually offer level 2 this autumn, because there are people that are not ready for the cardigan or even the sweater. It's kind of like, because there are different processes on this. So yes, so totally. And I love that. And I love the fact because I just, when you joined my my universe last year, you just dived in and you just, okay. And you were so clear. You talked to me and you said, "Anne, I'm not doing the cardigan. You don't have to do the cardigan. You can do the cardigan next year if you decide to stick around." Right?
I'll stick around, but I'm still not sure.
And that's the thing. But this is the thing. You can do the cardigan next year if you decide to stick around, right? Because year 3, there is more coming as well. But then you have options. And I totally get that. And it's like, that's why we're doing all these different levels of courses as well, because there is a natural flow to it, right? I'm not supposed to do all the talking today. That's you guys.
But I will tell you, I should have been patient, because there's certainly enough in what your mountain or nook to keep me busy in between the two. And so, but anyway, here I am.
Another thing for those who are sitting there wondering what to do is that if they are ready for level 2, that's, the time you can easily join now. But also, if you join in December, then we have level 1 with live teaching from January. Then we have level 2 February, March, April, May, and then we do level 3 in the autumn. So it's a natural flow to it. So just a little, note, make a note of that. Okay. Yvonne?
Yeah.
You did level 1, and then you just went straight into level 2, didn't you?
I started with the Eternity shawl last year as well.
Yeah.
And then I discovered continental knitting. It was totally new for me. Color work was new for me as well. So I decided to do the whole package. So level 0, 1, and 2. And I learned to knit continental. First, it was with both hands, and then with 2 colors in one hand, and about color dominance, how to hold your strands and tension. And it's improving. It's getting better and better with the more I knit. So yeah, and then knitting in the round. And what I found most fascinating is that I learned that if you have a pattern, to avoid the shift at the beginning of the row, that's wonderful. I like it so much. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Have you gone completely from throwing to continental?
Yeah. So sometimes when I have like a problem and I need to go back, then I may switch to the throwing. But yeah, continental is now my new way of knitting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But what do you because you did, you, as you said, I remember it now because you signed up last year at in December, and you bought the whole package because we had this offer with from 0 to 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what you did is that you started with 0 and you just worked your way through all the stages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did everything from like the little swatches to a hat and a cowl and mittens. So the whole, yeah. But yeah, the weather in the Netherlands is not that cold, so I'm I need a new project. I've got enough hats by now. But yeah, onto the sweaters, and I have a sweater now, and I'm so happy with it. It fits. It fits completely.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. I love that. I love that. You know, if you have posted a picture, but I would love to have a picture where you smile a bit more. You know, that's the thing that happens in when you get into my world and keeps us saying, you know, what about a picture? Can I get one?
I will have to look at my husband.
Yes, yes. And I know your husband is, you know, your picture buddy. He helps you out with that. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I can see that some people having problems getting in, and I'm unfortunately I need to send I'm gonna say okay. I just need to send a quick email. I'm sorry about this. I had a feeling that there was something because the number of people watching is too low compared to what it usually is. But it's a good thing. It's recorded so people can watch it in replay. So there you are. Yeah, I know, Suzanne. Suzanne, I know you find it on YouTube, but when people get a link, you would assume that that link works. So that's yeah. Let's move on. Would you say that that was an advantage, taking it from the very beginning, Ivan, going through that, you know, ladder of one color, two color small project, two color bigger project?
Yeah, yeah, it was because I came from English throwing,
Mm.
and I had to start from scratch basically, and yeah, it was small steps, and it was yeah a good order for me.
Mm. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that because and that was, you know, obviously that is also the intention. I'm going to tell you something, guys. I can't help myself, but when I released my first course, that was what is today called level 2. Then what happened was that I saw that there were people in there that really needed to start further, you know, down on the ladder. So I decided to offer level 1. And then what happened is there's some feedback. I need to mute you guys. I think maybe it could be because of that. And then what happened was that so I offered level 1, and I thought, okay, let's offer something with smaller projects. And then I saw, okay, there are people that want to either learn to knit from the very beginning, or they want to go from continental to throwing, or the other way around, rather, from throwing to continental. And they should actually to start at level 0. but actually at level 1, but level 1 was taken, so that's why, you know, we called it the power of knitting, but it became level 0 when we talk about it. So that's why we have a level 0. It's not that it means nothing, because it is important. So it should have been 1, 2, 3, and then 4, unless we did, but because we already, well, I did one course, offered a new one, and thought, okay, this is going to be level 1 and 2. And then, okay, we need one before 1. That's going to be 0. So there we go. That's the story behind that one. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? I'm going to see. Crystal. You've been very, you're not the only one, but you are one of those who's been very open about how much you learned about colors and sizing during this journey. What would you like to elaborate on that?
Sure. And no, those have been wonderful things that have opened up for me during my time with you and your team. I had always really admired color work, knitting the Nordic especially, and I'd done a couple of Icelandic sweaters, always just, you know, following the pattern that was there. But when I saw your stuff, I came across your stuff because I was looking, just kind of Googling baby blankets, because I had a niece that was going to have a baby. And one of the ones that came up was yours, because it was last spring, a year ago, last spring.
Yeah.
It was one of the Knit Bliss patterns. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's a wool one. Well, that's pretty. I wonder who's this Anne's Norwegian knitting. And so I Googled it. And the first thing that came up when I did the Google was the Eternity shawl. And my jaw just dropped to the floor. And I'm just going, oh my goodness. Forget the baby blanket. I have got to do that shawl. Anyway, I long story short, I did knit something for my niece's little one, but it was the baby hat and mittens that came, you know, in that same, from that same wonderful universe. Anyway, but when I saw the way the colors moved and the richness of the patterns and everything, I had never seen anything like that before. And it just really grabbed my heart. I learned later, as I listened to you, why it did, because your inspiration comes from the natural world, and the Eternity shawl inspiration came while you were on a mountaintop, and it was, you know, the mountains and the clouds and the just the rich beauty that's there. And I thought, that's why, because I love the outdoors, the natural beauty, mountains, ocean. All of that is just what really feeds my heart. And I thought, oh my goodness, here's somebody who actually takes inspiration from the beauty that she sees in the natural world. And somehow she's able to get it to work in yarn and needles, and comes up with beautiful, rich patterns for garments that look like they're comfortable, but also really pretty. And I want to learn how to do that if I can. So it's just been a wonderful journey, because you share where you get your inspiration from, and you share your process of going from that inspiration to colors in a garment. And it's a garment that's going to be comfortable as well as beautiful. And part of the reason it's comfortable is because it's knit to actually fit the person it's going to fit, as opposed to the beautiful mannequin that's behind you that I will never be. Anyway, so that's just been, it's been marvelous. I've gone from not having any idea as to how on earth you would put together colors for even one of the Icelandic sweaters, and unless it was like, you know, in a pattern in a book already all put there, to being able to, like, you know, for the level 3, I was in some of the Colorado mountains this summer, and I knew that level 3 was coming. It's a flower meadow cardigan. So as we were going up through all the high passes and stuff, I'd be saying, stop, I got to get out and take a picture. I got to take a picture of these flowers. And then we'd go drive for a little, oh, stop, I need those pictures. Anyway, those flowers. And thankfully we were there during flower season. I have a lot of flower pictures, but then I was able to come home and I was able to pull different colors from some of the yarn people that Anne knows that are absolutely wonderful. And I know enough to be able to swatch with those colors and see whether or not it's something that might work. And we learned also how to, in that swatching, as Brenda said, you make something that is functional. This is actually a hot pad pot holder. I can use it. I use it on my kitchen table already. But it's a big enough thing that, like Brenda said, I can take my gauge in all different kinds of places here and get a much more accurate feel for what is really going to turn out, especially because we learn to swatch not only when you're knitting, but then you wash it and dry it and stuff, just like you're going to with your sweater. So you know what it's going to do by the time you've put in all the work to make, whether it's a hat, for the level 2, or, whether it ends up being like the Hemsedal sweater, or I'd show you my level 2, but I can't because it was for my daughter and she likes it and she's wearing it in Washington State. But then I was able to take all that. And with the Hemsedal, I loved Anne's colors, so I used her colors, but I did adjust the fit. And the nice thing is, when I put this on, it fits and it's comfortable and I like it. Anyway, sorry, I don't know if that.
Yeah, but what I like about this is that I remember when you started, when you were picking colors for level 2, you kind of, you were smitten by the green colors, the white and the green colors that I did at that point. Is the one that's, yours is finished, mine is half finished behind me there. But I remember you saying that I really like those colors, and also I'm not at a place right now where I'm able to pick my own colors, so I'm just going to go with that because I know it works, right? But
right.
Going from there, doing that one, making a beautiful sweater, and going from there and then into now the way that you have approached the level 3, which is coming up, is so cool to see, because you post your stuff in the community and you ask for guidance, and then you test it and you tell us what you think about it, and then we give you our view, and then you say, you take make those decisions based on knowledge and talking to people in there that know what you're talking about, so that you get the right.
And it's right. And it's, we're able to learn, like you said, from the community as a whole, because it's learning from you and Steph as to why you choose the colors you choose and how you choose to put them together. But it's also being able to watch Yvonne and Brenda and others work through their color choices. All of us that are in a class, when you spend time with a group of people that create a kind and encouraging environment, and all are trying to learn in a similar direction, you can't help but come out as a better, if that's knitting, as a better knitter. The environment you surround yourself with is going to make a huge impact. And that is very much the case for these classes. Everybody that's in them is encouraging. When somebody puts out a color swatch or something and says, well, what do you think? I'm a little concerned about this or that. The feedback is always encouraging and positive. I mean, even if it's I see what you're saying here, maybe you could try this. It's never well, that looks lovely. So we just get a lot of positive encouragement from the other students, from the teachers. And so being able to watch other people make color choices and, see what works in their stuff, and how different people are drawn to different types of colors.
Yeah, because Exactly, and I want to give credit to Yvonne, because Yvonne, you can tell that you can unmute yourself if you want to, and because the thing is, what Yvonne, I have my color scheme, and you guys, everyone who's in on the inside knows my way of picking colors. You know, it's all about my images, that the images that I have in my head, and that comes from nature. And it comes from the colors that you find in the Norwegian nature, obviously, right? Which are not the bright Mediterranean or, you know, Latino color schemes. Mine are, you know, you've seen my stuff. They're not gray, but they are muted, but they can be colorful, but they can also be, you know, extremely blue because I'm blue. But Yvonne, you are so bold in your color choices, and they come out so beautifully, and it's so inspirational for me as well. So how do you pick your colors, Yvonne?
I have done like a counseling with a color lady, a style person, and I came out as a cool summer. So that is bright colors, but not as bright as I thought I would be. So I can show you my first eternity shawl that is in a basket behind me. So that's these bright colors.
Mm.
And after
It's the brightest eternity shawl I've ever seen, and I love it.
thank you.
Yeah.
But after the color advice, I had, well, better for me, for my face, for my tone, I had to tone down a little bit. So the second eternity shawl, the colors are more muted.
For those of you who can't see me now, I love this.
So, like this.
Yeah. Cool. No, I love that. And because the way you also, for your level 2 sweater, the way that you put together your colors and the way that you inspire everyone by sharing it is like credit, kudos. You know, I love it. Thank you for doing that, Yvonne.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Is there anything else? I was actually hoping to have the wonderful Step in the background to help me a bit. Brenda, is there anything else you would like to add? Something that you think we should talk about in connection to this?
So I think so. I retired a couple year and a half ago, and I had started knitting because I had read a book that said that you need to figure out what you're going to do with your time. Everybody concentrates on whether they have the finances to retire, but nobody thinks about what they're going to do when they retire. And so that's when I started knitting 10 years ago. And the first day I retired, I realized that the only people I knew who knit were at work. And they weren't really people who I would keep in contact with other than to show my knitting. And so I had no one to, when you know how when you complete a project and you got to share it, there was no one that could understand. So I started looking around for something to do, and I joined a few classes. And then I came upon Anne's World, and it is a world because not only did it add structure to my week, because I, as Anne said, I jumped in and took course after course. I met a group of people, a community that was so amazing. And as Crystal said, everything's positive, which I have sort of a cynical personality, even though I am a positive person. So I had to adjust my humor. But you know, I have met people from all over the world, and I cherish these online friends as much as I cherish my face-to-face friends. So not only is this a chance to learn, this is a chance to make friends all over the world. And it's an amazing place. And I don't think I'll ever leave unless she kicks me out. And I don't know that she does that.
I don't think I will ever kick you out, to be quite honest. It's like, if I do, I'm going to do it gently. I'm going to tell you, but I can't see that happening. I really can't see that.
If I can jump in just a minute, just a second, Brenda. I am an introvert by nature, but people are important to me. I just need to be able to have a touchstone. And this is the first group of any kind that I have ever been able to join and be very happy staying with. And I think it's because of not only is there a shared interest, but and there's so much diversity. So I mean, there's always something to learn. I mean, we're never going to drain Anne's knowledge of knitting, but also her knowledge of Norway and customs and different parts of the world. And then there's all the different people that are taking classes. So there's just so much richness. And because it's a kind, safe environment, you're totally free to just soak in all kinds of wonderful people and places. And it's an opportunity for growth in all ways. Like Brenda said, you're growing not only in your structure. If you're in a class, you're usually meeting, there'll be the class session during the week, and then there's a Q&A session during the week. Plus there's the Nook or the mountain journey. There's always stuff going on. So you're never just kind of left hanging out there on your own. And I'm just so happy to be here. It's just lovely.
Thank you. I love that. What I love about you guys is that you're also wonderfully positive. It sounds like this is, a community out of this world, and I admit it is. But I'm sure there are other people out there that are offering good stuff as well. But we just know. I know this part and what I share. But thank you so much for sharing, because I really, really appreciate that. Yvonne.
But part of it is directly because of the guidelines and the ground rules that you have set up. In that we don't come here to discuss all kinds of issues that could be controversial or that tend to lead down negative rabbit holes. We come here to focus on things that we value, on things, people, and issues that we value, not things that we want to tear down. And the atmosphere that you find yourself in is contagious. So thank you for the ground rules you've got.
And thank you for, sticking to them, right? Yvonne, did you have anything that you want to add?
No, that's what I wanted to say as well. You set like the boundaries of the discussions, and that makes it a safe place.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for pointing that out. It's so important. I think everyone who knows me know exactly where I stand on a lot of issues. And I feel very strongly about quite a few of them. But we are not going down those rabbit holes in our world, because that's bound to end in some kind of not nice, if not disaster.
That's not why we're here. I said that's not why we're here.
Exactly. You can be active on those issues somewhere else, not in this group. Yeah.
So I think the other great thing about your world, and I think Crystal touched upon it earlier, is the chatting and the forums that you have where we can ask questions. And so even, if you don't have a class for another week, you can put something in the chat if you want to talk to the rest of the group, or in the forum if you want real answers from Anne and Steph. And I don't think I've ever waited more than 12 hours in the forum and 15 minutes in the chat to get an answer. And since we're all over the world,
exactly,
it doesn't matter what time it is when you ask.
There's always someone on there, right? And can you imagine? I was actually intending to take away the chat.
No.
I had this idea that the chat didn't work. That idea has left the building. Don't worry, it's not. I'm not gonna.
I think, Anne, I think the reason you thought the chat didn't work is because you don't go on the chat.
Well, I think you're right.
Sorry, couldn't resist that one.
Because I don't. And then because I realized this spring, I went in there actually by accident into one of the chats, and I thought, oh gosh, there's a lot of stuff happening here. Yeah, okay, whatever. They'll let me know if they have a question that I need to attend to. So it's like, okay, cool. But I also think it's interesting that if you want my attention, you need to use the forum, right? Not the chat. And then, but you are, you're enjoying it. So that's we are keeping the chats.
Well, I think that also adds to the community spirit, because we can, if we don't want to waste your time over our, we want you for our real questions. So this allows you a way, for us, a way to separate where we put our little cheers in and ask simple questions that we know somebody else will know how to answer without, because we don't want to dilute your attention to these things when we really need you. So I think having the two works well.
Yeah, they seem to work. It does. It really does. Suzanne Oliver said in the chat, what I like is the consistency of the yarn used. So that is one less unknown. So learning can focus on the actual knitting and not troubleshooting why the range of other yarns is causing problems. That's cool, Suzanne. And this is also, and you guys, you know this because you've been around. I try to use the same yarns or in the same family of yarns and with all my projects. Occasionally I go overboard with a new yarn, but that doesn't happen too often. But also that we are really consistent in giving you the knowledge about the different yarns in the same, it's presented in the same way every single time we do it, more or less, so that you can easily compare it. So that's true. And it's all Norwegian, apart from I use some yarn from Knoll, and Knoll is a UK company, but apart from that, everything is Norwegian. Well, I also use a variegated yarn, 2 variegated yarns as accent colors from Montana Colors in Montana, which is a small, tiny little company that do hand-dyed yarns, beautiful yarns, which are all made sustainably, which is important to me.
Which is something we haven't talked about, which is important to the group, is sustainability and how you choose your yarns and how you teach us about where they come from and how we source our yarn. We have Sue, who's in our group, Suzanne, in our group, who gets shipments so that we all don't have 5 million shipments coming across the ocean, and then we get them from her.
That's true. I also work with one in Canada, Your Next Knit. She also I send her a lot of information when, not as much as with Sue, because Sue is really in my inner circle. She's been with me for some time. But and the issue in Europe we have, I know, like for Yvonne, have you been able to source Hillesvåg yarn for level 3, or will you use Rauma yarn?
No, there is one shop in the Netherlands that sells it.
Yeah.
So I have ordered, but it's going to take a few weeks before it comes here.
Yeah, but we're not starting until the 18th, so.
No.
Yeah, so that's cool.
But there's one shop.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, so that's, and it's easier to send across in Europe because Europe is smaller than the US and Canada altogether in area wise. So it's all about, we do our best. We can't win them all, but we do our best. Okay. Okay, I think, unless, do you ladies have anything else you want to add?
No, nothing but positive. And what I really like is that you explain the pattern quite detailed, and then we get all small tutorials with it. So that's maximum of 10 minutes, and you can go back over and over again and change the speed. It's really funny if you do it half speed.
Yeah. Or double speed.
Yeah, no.
Half speed for provisional cast on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Thank you for pointing that out. For those who are wondering, the courses are made up in such a way that we do weekly live calls, teaching calls, for when we have the live teaching. The level 1 you can do as a self-study, but we do it live. We have live teaching on it in January, February. But level 2 is only with live teaching, and we drip out stuff. It's not like you get everything dropped into your lap on day 1. We take one step at a time. I'm all about trying to embrace the different stages, whatever I'm doing. It's like, because the overwhelm is absolutely, total and complete if you get it all just thrown down on your head, day 1. And all the tutorials are really small. That's because I can't. I tried out a couple of things myself, and I can't. I'm not a big fan. I try not to use negative words. I'm not a big fan of getting 45 minutes of non-stop teaching tutorials. But if I get small snippets of 3 to 10 minutes, depending on what you're doing, then it's so much easier to digest it, and also to go back. And you can click on the favorite button, and then you have it in your favorite list, and you can go back and watch it again. Yeah. So this is the thing. So that's really important. It really is. So thank you for saying that. And also, you obviously have access forever when you buy the courses in my world. I can see that Suzanne asking, where do you sign up for these courses? It depends a bit whether you want to buy single courses or if you want to join the full experience. The Fjord experience is open for sign up already. I can give you a link for that. But what we'll do is that on Wednesday, I will be going through all these different. I will be giving you short little presentation about Fair Isle versus Norwegian knitting, and after that I will release all the information about how to sign up, and then we have open signups until September 3rd. On the September 3rd, we're going to close everything. What we're going to do is that we're going to do call a panel thing, chat like this on the Northern Light, which is what used to be the Great Experience, next week. Not this coming week, but the week after. But you can sign up if you're ready to join the Fjord, which is 12 months with the NUC and level 0 to level 2. Then you can sign up right now on that link that I just put in the chat. If you want to talk to me about the Northern Lights, everyone who joins the Northern Lights have to. There is no way around it. You have to have a call with me, a one-to-one. And it's not because I'm going to test your knitting. It's because I'm going to test your personality. We're going to do a 360 test on you. No, we're not. We are going to do, it's just for me to have a chat and see if we are compatible and to see if you are compatible with the group. because you heard how much that this group means to people. So it's important that we get this little, one-to-one just to check it out. I have said no to people. I have told people that this might not be the right time. Come back in December or next year. And I let the big majority in. We have a few seats. So if you want to do a call with me, make sure that you click on that link that I gave you in the chat and book a call. There will be more time slots coming later today. I just haven't had the time to update it. But just so you know. Okay. The level 1 is a self-study course, the same as the level 0, and they are at ansnorwegianknitting.com. There is in the menu, you will see courses and memberships or something like that, and you can get them from there. But if you are thinking about doing a year with us, you get it in that year, so you probably don't want to pay double. Yeah. So there you go. I think that's it, unless you lovely ladies have any last minute things. No? Cool. For those of you who are in the note, we are doing a pattern Q&A in an hour, I think it is. There's a link inside the community, so go there and check it out. For those of you who have the pattern Q&A is for the mittens. No, not the mittens, the socks for the Norwegian Wool Month. And then tomorrow we have an exciting call with Stormdal Wool, and I am about to roll up some yarns. I'm going to start on a sock at some point later today. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see some of you later, and I'll see some of you tomorrow. Okay, thank you.